I am Wuraola Yusuff. The headlines. Tinubu seeks resource theft, illegal mining recognition as international crime. Oyo Assembly calls for swift action to rescue flooded Atiba farmers. UK government faces growing pressure over collapsed China spy case. Colonel says Madagascar's military takes power. Messi set for Argentina return in Puerto Rico friendly. And now the details. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has urged West African leaders to push for the designation of resource theft, illegal mining, and mineral smuggling as international crimes, saying such acts have become grave threats to regional peace, stability, and development. The president, who was represented by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, made a call in Abuja today while declaring open the annual general meeting of the Network of National Anti-Corruption Institutions in West Africa, and also lamented that, despite decades of independence, the region's economic and political progress continued to be undermined by corruption and the looting of mineral resources. President Tinubu also commended the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC), led by Olanipekun Lukoyede, for its prolific record in asset recovery, while urging member countries to share lessons from such efforts, and further stated that his government was committed to using recovered funds as instruments of social inclusion. The Oyo State government has urged Okiogo residents to come up with relevant submissions into the proposed 2026 budget, just as it reassured them of adequate security. The Deputy Governor of the state, Barrister Bayo Lawal, made the remarks today during the 2026 Stakeholders Consultative Meeting held at Shaki Township Hall, where he said the exercise will give citizens of the state a voice in the budget preparation, while also providing updates on the performance of the 2025 budget. The Deputy Governor reassured residents that previous suggestions had been integrated into earlier budgets and promised that all projects embarked on after the 2025 Stakeholders Consultative Meeting will be completed before the expiration of the present administration's second term. Barrister Adebayo also reassured residents of the Okiogo zone of adequate security to boost economic growth of the region. The Deputy Governor, however, said the Oyo State government will leave no stone unturned to strengthen security in the entire linking roads of the zone, entry and exit points, and other strategic locations in the zone. The Oyo State House of Assembly has called on the state government to take swift and decisive action to rescue farmers in Atiba local government following devastating flooding that cut off major rural roads and crippled agricultural activities in the area. Raising the motion under a matter of urgent public importance during today's plenary, the Chief Whip of the Oyo State House of Assembly, Honorable Benga Joseph Oyekola, expressed deep concern over the worsening condition of rural infrastructure, particularly after the recent downpour on Sunday, 5th of October, 2025. Akidigwe FM News correspondent Oluwapemi Bamidele was at the plenary. Here are the details.
The Oyo State House of Assembly reconvened today after its last adjournment, and the House was presided over by the Speaker, Right Honorable Adebo Ogundoyin. During the plenary, the Honorable representing Atiba State constituency, Honorable Benga Oyekola, advocated for urgent rescue of Atiba farmers over the poor condition of rural roads. According to Honorable Oyekola, the heavy rainfall of 5th October 2025 caused the collapse of the Alakpa-Agun River Box culvert along Sabo Bale Agbe-Otefun Road, a vital route that connects several farming communities to major markets in Sabo and Ajogunle. Honorable Oyekola described the situation as a serious threat to the agro-economic survival of the constituency, noting that over 65% of Atiba's residents depend on farming for their livelihood.
The road is a major road for farmers to transport their products to the market like Sabo, and Ajegule in Oyo. It is pertinent to note that farmers can no longer reach this market with their goods since Sunday, 5th October 2025, and those that come to the market follow a long route via Isheyin, Ogbomoso Road, resulting in increased transportation costs and travel time.
The motion, seconded by Honorable Owolabi Olushola, who represents Ibadan Northeast Constituency 2, urged the executive arm of government to intervene immediately. The lawmaker specifically called on the Ministry of Public Works and Transport to rehabilitate the collapsed Alapagun River culvert and restore vehicular movement along Sabo, Bale, Agbe-Otefun route. In another related development, the Oyo State House of Assembly has called on the executive arm of government to regulate and control the unhygienic and unhealthy preservation of fruits, vegetable, and other food items by unscrupulous vendors in the state. Presenting the motion, the Honorable representing Wuraola State Constituency, Honorable O.A. Ogunshola, stated that vendors use harmful chemicals such as formalin, calcium carbide, and others to preserve food and vegetables. The House later resolved to urge the executive arm of government through the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Environment and Natural Resources to take proactive steps towards implementing effective enforcement strategies to curb these despicable practices in the state.
It poses serious dangers to human health. The use of chemical contaminants like formalin, calcium carbide, or excessive substances in fruit preservation like orange, banana, apple, mango, and other food items, which can lead to poisoning, cancer risk, respiratory issues, and damage to livers, kidney, or digestive system.
Similarly, the House has called the Ministry of Energy to action full functioning of the third phase of the Light Up Oyo project, which is expected to light some major markets, including the Bola Hige International Market and other public spaces across the state, as Phase 1 and Phase 2 of the project have been adjudged performing. Oluwapemi Bamidele, Agidegbo FM News.
The leadership of the Nigerian group of Fulani NGF from selected southwest states paid a courtesy visit to Dr. Oriyomi Hamzat, the chairman of Agidegbo 88.7 FM, to seek his intervention in redeeming the image of the Fulani race from negative comments and beliefs. Alhaji Nuhu Abdurrahman Ugwagbaye, NGF founder and national president, led the team and appealed to Dr. Hamzat to help propagate the need for thorough investigations before linking the Fulani community to crimes or terrorism in Nigeria.
Orúkọ Fúlàní ọjọ́ sí wípé kò sẹ́ni tí ò láṣìṣe tábàtàrà lókun. Fúlàní láṣìṣe, kò ṣe pé kò láṣìṣe, Yorùbá láṣìṣe, Haúsá láṣìṣe, Yíbò láṣìṣe, Ìgbìrà gbogbo ọ̀rọ̀ tọ́lọ̀ ní kó wà láyé lóde tó dáa ló sì lélẹ̀ tí ò dáa.
In his welcome address, Dr. Hamzat described the mandate as a national assignment, noting that the issue has been politicized across geopolitical zones. He emphasized that the Fulani community must play a strong role in cleansing their race.
Tedious job, because former Agbakeyan confront nítorí pé this issue has been politicized. Wọ́n lè ti rí Fúlàní gẹ́gẹ́ bí yardstick láti make a statement.
The leader of the Fulani community in the United States, Alhaji Muhammad Said Omokayode, and NGF chairman for Ekiti State, Alhaji Nuhu Al-Fulani, urged Dr. Hamzat to assist them, citing his reputation for truth and integrity. The meeting, held at the Agidegbo 88.7 FM Broadcasting House, ended on a positive note, with both parties committed to working together to promote peace, understanding, and unity among all Nigerians. The Honorable Speaker of the People's Parliament, Honorable Segun Okungbayi, on Agidigbo FM's people-oriented program Shokonwa, has raised concerns about moral grounds for granting prerogative of mercy to certain convicts by President Ahmed Bola Tinubu. Speaking on the program today, Honorable Okungbayi criticized the selection criteria, arguing that many beneficiaries are undeserving and have committed serious crimes.
The president has the right to prerogative of mercy, and he can pardon anything under the constitution that empowers him. But the major problem people has is they question the morality of those that are pardoned. And when you look at the moral justification for those that are pardoned, you begin to question the parameters whereby those people are choosing, especially when people begin to talk about drug barons, talking about murderers, and talking about so many people that are not merited to be granted this mercy. So the president can reverse some of these things if you deeply look into it.
The Honorable Speaker therefore urged the President to reconsider the decision and grant mercy to only those deserving, and lastly called for a more thorough evaluation of convicts' character in the future to ensure justice is served. And now it is time to link up with our United Kingdom studio for the foreign news.
News from Kuliamza Studio at Gidigbo FM, United Kingdom. I am Olushola Damilola. The United Kingdom Security Minister has promised to provide an update to the House on the facts surrounding the collapse of the trial against the two men accused of spying in Parliament for China. Although the two suspects categorically denied the allegation, there have been suggestions that the government deliberately collapsed the case in order to avoid angry China due to trade investments between the two countries. But government has categorically denied such accusation. Dan Jarvis, the Minister for Security, stated that UK government is extremely disappointed by the collapse of the case, while the decision not to proceed with the trial was an independent one made by the Crown Prosecution Service. Jarvis, however, announced that MI15, the United Kingdom intelligence, data analysis and corporate firm, will take further steps to protect the country from foreign interference. A man who came to the United Kingdom on a small boat and threatened to kill Nigel Farage has been jailed for 5 years. Fayaz Khan, 26, made a gun gesture with his hand pointed to an AK-47 tattoo on his face and mentioned the Reform UK leader in a TikTok post in October 2024, while authorities believe the Afghan migrant has given them false name and it was actually a 31-year-old called Fayaz Hussein. According to the Crown Prosecution Service, elected politicians must be able to carry out their jobs free from harm or abuse, and anyone who seeks to intimidate them shall face the full force of the law. And that ends the news. From Kuliamza Studio at Gidigbo FM, United Kingdom, I am Olushola Damilola.
Welcome back. And now we shall also be moving to our Maryland studio, United States, for more foreign news.
News from Kule Amzat Studio at Gidigbo FM, United States. I am Oluwatosin Sonia. The U.S. government has revoked the visas of at least 50 politicians and government officials in Mexico amid the Trump administration's crackdown on drug cartels and their suspected political allies. According to 3 former U.S. ambassadors, previous administrations have revoked visas in this way, but not to the same degree, which they said was indicative of President Donald Trump's willingness to use the diplomatic tool to achieve policy goals. The move has sent quite shockwave through Mexico's political elite, who regularly travel to the U.S. and require a visa to do so. It also marks a significant broadening of U.S. anti-narcotic action, with the Trump administration targeting active politicians, usually seen as too diplomatically sensitive. Madagascar's military has taken charge of the Indian Ocean island, an army colonel said on Tuesday, after President Andry Rajoelina fled abroad during a standoff with youth-led protesters and security forces. Colonel Michael, who led a mutiny of soldiers joining anti-government Gen Z demonstrators, said on national radio. He added that the military was dissolving all institutions except the lower house of parliament or National Assembly, which voted to impeach Rajoelina minutes earlier. Despite flying out on a French military jet
Rajolina is refusing to step down in defiance of weeks of Gen Z protests demanding his resignation and widespread defections in the army. Rajolina has said he has moved to a safe place because of threats to his life. An opposition official, a military source, and a foreign diplomat told reporters he had fled the country on Sunday aboard a French military plane. That ends the news from Kulayamzat Studio at Gidigbo FM, United States. I am Uluwatosin.
Welcome back once again. And now in the exciting world of sports. Lionel Messi has rejoined the Argentina squad and could feature in Tuesday's friendly against Puerto Rico, coach Neil Scaloni said after the forward skipped their 1-0 victory over Venezuela to play for Inter Miami at the weekend. Messi scored twice in Inter Miami's 4-0 victory over Atlanta United in Major League Soccer on Saturday. Scaloni said he would speak to the 38-year-old about his fitness before deciding if he plays against Puerto Rico. Speaking ahead of the friendly game that would take place on Wednesday morning, Scaloni, the World Cup winning coach, confirmed that he saw Messi played on Saturday, and from what he saw, Lionel Messi finished well. Although the Argentina coach said he hasn't spoken to him yet, the match against Puerto Rico will take place at Inter Miami's home venue, Chess Stadium, and Fort Lauderdale, Florida, after being moved from Chicago due to security and logistical concerns. To wrap up the news this evening, here is a recap of the headlines. Tinubu seeks resource theft, illegal mining recognition as international crime. Oyo Assembly calls for swift action to rescue flooded Atiba farmers. UK government faces growing pressure over collapsed China spy case. Cornell says Madagascar's military takes power. Messi set for Argentina return and Puerto Rico friendly. And before we go this evening, here is a quick tip. The reward for work well done is the opportunity to do more. Finally, we have come to the end of the news around the world on the most listened to radio station at Gidigbo 88.7 FM Ibadan. I am Wuraola Yusuff. Thank you for listening. Good evening.
News is information, and information is power. At Agidigbo 88.7 FM, we bring the news from top to bottom.
The Oyo State government has said the over 1.5 million out of school children.
We give you reports from Oyo State.
The Oyo State House of Assembly has called for thorough investigation.
The Southwest in Nigeria and the rest of the world.
Has clarified that the body did not receive any cash support from international development.
Trust us to keep you informed every hour, every day.
Agidigbo 88.7 FM, the people's voice.